Bolt your windows. Lock your doors. Check your closets. Look under your bed. And then prepare yourself. For it's another episode of Dark Knight of the Podcast. Whoa!
In olden days, a glimpse of stocking was looked at as something shocking, but now God knows anything goes. Gaze, be thrilled, be excited, be flamboyant, because today's feature film that we've selected, it stars a two-time Tony Award-winning actress, Sutton Foster, who does not age, by the way. Let us just acknowledge the woman is 46. She does not age. She's won 2 Tonys, one of which was for Thoroughly Modern Millie, and one of which was for the revival of Anything Goes. A classic. Troy, you don't know a lot about Broadway, but, you know, there's there's a tidbit for you that you may or may not have known.
Okay, I had no idea I was watching a Tony Award-winning actress perform in Gravy. I had no clue. No clue.
I'm going to say it like this, this aside, Gravy aside, Sutton Foster, fucking insanely talented, deserves all the vehicles in the world to push that talent forward. She's had a few TV shows. She had Bunheads, and then she had the way more successful Younger that she's had for like 7 or 8 seasons now, along with one Hilary Duff, whose jaw is just overwhelmingly large, but we love her nonetheless. But yeah, today's title is Gravy, and it stars Sutton Foster, who I really love. And Troy, let's just get into Gravy. Let's talk about this a little bit in the sense of, this is a title that I'm pretty sure you've never seen prior to this, correct?
No, I had never seen it. Never heard of it, really. So it was definitely I was going in absolutely blind. I had no idea what it was about.
Yeah, I was hesitant to throw it at you because we don't tend to go horror comedy on here. That's like a little bit of I would say that's more for a Patreon, almost, a horror comedy. By the way, guys, we got a Patreon. Let's just throw it out there. Troy, use this as your platform.
Oh, well, yes, folks, we do have a Patreon. If you go to patreon.com and search for Dark Knight of the Podcast, you will find us. And you will find the link in the show notes. We're just going to give it a little bit of a plug. Here you go. You could subscribe. We have 3 different tier levels. For each tier, you get extra bonus content each month. And currently, right now, the page has some pretty awesome bonus content, if I do say so myself, Roger. We have 2 full-length bonus episodes exclusive to Patreon. We did Terrifier, Art the Clown, the slasher flick Terrifier, and we did Repo, the genetic opera. Both of those episodes are up. All you have to do is join at one of the tier 2 or tier 3 levels, and you get access to it. And then we have 2 little bonus mini episodes. They're about 30 minutes apiece, where the first one we count down our top 3 underrated final girls in horror film history. And the latest one that we just posted a couple days ago for November is our top 3 underrated death scenes in horror films. And I think you will find some very interesting, obscure films on these lists. So I definitely, it's worth checking out. If you enjoy the podcast, throw in a few extra or a few bucks at us a month really will help us improve the show. Again, you get extra bonus content that nobody else hears, and you get an awesome shout out. So we have 5 patrons that have been with us now since the start, and we have to thank them again. We want to thank Julie Brock, Stephen Ramirez, Craig Brocken, Andrew Benoit, and Simon Logan. And guys, Roger can attest to this. I have them memorized. I'm not reading off of anything. So that's how much we love our patrons. And if you want to hear your name, again, head over to patreon.com, Dark Knight of the Podcast. It's a couple bucks a month, guys, and we take these episodes seriously. We're not skimping. They're full length. They go as much detail as our regular episodes. So check them out.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, it's really good stuff, if I may say so myself. But they're out there.
Well, yeah, you know what? And I'm not just saying this, Roger. Yeah. It kind of sucks because I really honestly think that Terrifier And Repo the Genetic Opera episodes are two of our best that we've done in a while. And it sucks that they're not being
fully utilized,
released widely, but that should encourage you to go check them out. But guys, check it out. Give us some support, even if you just share the Patreon on social media. That'll help us out too. So,
and even with that,
we'd be grateful.
Just, other things I think that our listeners can look forward to is we plan on releasing full schedules, monthly schedules of our expected titles. You'll be able to know every movie we'll be reviewing that month, a full calendar of the month to know what to expect. So you'll have a little bit of future notice, which is exciting, and also you'll have some direct input. I mean, we always want to listen to our fans. If you're going to suggest a title, I mean, we're going to add it to the list. But if you're a Patreon supporter and you recommend something, it might get bumped up a little faster, maybe. So just there's a lot of perks that come with this very minor fee. My goodness.
Well, yeah, and we have some different merchandising ideas we are planning, and stickers and all kinds of fun stuff. So check it out. That's enough about that. Again, patreon.com, search for Dark Knight of the Podcast, or the link will be in the show notes. I think it's time we get on to this film because I feel like we're going to have a lot to say about this one. So it may...
Oh my God. Well, yeah. I feel like this film, Troy, was one that I was hesitant to even throw out to you. And I'll say this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like when I suggested it, I sensed a little hesitancy on your part as well. Because, like I said, a horror comedy is not our usual.
It wasn't, but to be honest with you, Roger, it was not the fact that it was a horror comedy. I will tell you what it is. And it's still a concern, but we'll get it out there. I'm excited because the movie actually deserves to be way more known than it is. My concern was not enough people knew this title and were going to actually want to listen to the episode. Because generally people want to listen to episodes of movies that they're familiar with, that they've seen, so they can form an opinion and see if they agree with what we say about it. So I was really worried that I was like, oh shit, okay, so we're picking this really obscure film. Right now we are, we're a podcast. We thrive on our listens, the amount of listens we get each week, and we have to be thrilled with our listen growth. Just in the past, probably 2 or 3 months has tripled, and it continues to go up. So you love us. But I was thinking in the midst of this, this listener growth, we're going to do this film that if I haven't heard of it, that's pretty obscure. So I'm hopefully I'm going to be surprised, and hopefully what I think will happen is if we post enough about it, people will want to listen to the episode, so they'll seek the film out. It's easily available. It's on Tubi for free to watch, and I think you'll get a real kick out of it. And after you listen to us, you'll probably definitely want to watch it just for the fucking cast alone. Good grief. Mine is Sutton Foster, who, like I said, I'm not familiar with her, but I mean, I am familiar with Sarah Silverman, Gabourey Sidibe, James Roday, who actually directed it, which I found very surprising because if you guys are familiar with the show Psych that was on USA Network for all those years, it's James Roday. It's the dude from Psych. He directed this.
Yeah, and he also has a cameo at the end.
Yeah, and is in it in the last couple minutes.
Along with his co-star from Psych, who is the other paramedic.
Yeah. But we'll get there.
Yeah.
So this film is gravy. And another thing, Roger, can I tell you?
No, please.
The title turned me off because here's a little interesting fact about Troy.
Do you hate gravy?
I despise gravy.
Oh, Troy.
I hate gravy on anything.
Oh my God.
Anything. I don't want gravy on mashed potatoes. I don't want gravy on anything. I hate it. I don't know what it is. It's so.
But after watching this film, does that title alone not lend itself so perfectly to the material? Because
it does. It does. I didn't, like I said, I had no idea what this movie was about. So let's get into it. You want to get into it?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I kind of want to just reiterate before I really dive in, the cast, I think what really drew me to this beyond anything, because when it comes to horror movies, I am somebody who, on a late night, I will deep dive into, an Amazon Prime or a Tubi and just look for the obscure, that is my me time. Finding titles that very few people have seen. And this is one of those movies. And I went into this movie with my friend Corey a couple of years ago. We had no idea what to expect. We were stoned out of our fucking minds, and it blew us away, honestly. Like, I was anticipating a movie that was going to just be, like, easy to make fun of. But no, you are laughing along with this film. And that's because, at its core, this cast is just so great. Everybody in this cast is likable. From the villains to the to the heroes and everyone in between. It is such a likable ensemble that carries this movie even through its clunkiest moments, I think. And I really I gotta say, I don't want anyone to die. I really hate that we have to lose a few of these characters because, God, they're just so endearing.
We lose more than a few of them.
Oh, we lose, shockingly enough, we lose people in some really brutal and grotesque ways. And because this movie is so light in its approach at times, you're almost shocked when it happens. But I assure you, listeners, it does happen. I do want to just state there is so much witty banter over the course of this film that it's impossible that we're going to hit every piece of it. Or acknowledge all of it, but just know this movie is witty. It is so witty. It's so funny. It's filled with great one-liners. I tried to keep up taking my notes, but it was literally pausing it every single minute. Like, every minute on the minute, I was pausing it, trying to grab a note. But so we're going to try to get through this as fast as possible. But, this movie is just worth acknowledging. It really is. It's a good movie. It's worth acknowledging, and it's fucking fun. It opens up with a note against a black background that states, sometimes there is simply no clinical explanation for why a person is completely batshit. The old noodle is just fried, period. It's a statement, apparently, from Jack the Ripper's cousin Jim. Apparently that's the case. But that gives you a note kind of exactly what you're getting into going into this. So I will say the opening of the movie, the first scene, and in turn the closing scene, which we will get to, are not my favorite parts of the film. I love Sarah Silverman, but I cannot stand her in this movie. Luckily... Oh my
wow.
God.
Okay, I'm the complete opposite. I can't stand Sarah Silverman at all, but I liked her in this. Like, when you told me Sarah Silverman was in this movie, I was like, oh, fuck. Because I don't like her. I don't think she's funny. I've never gotten her. But in this film, I think she's absolutely very endearing and funny.
I think my thing is, they open the movie with the character of Anson arriving at this, little delicatessen to pick up some gelato. And
yeah, it's a gas station.
It's a gas station, yeah. And he goes in, and it leads to this kind of budding romance that develops between the character of Anson and the character of Bethany Lynn Goolsby, who is played by Sarah Silverman. And these two characters are very weird, extremely weird. And I think the thing that they're trying to establish here beyond anything is just how weird they are, and that's why they connect. But then you go on to find out exactly why he's weird versus her just being a weird individual. But it's just, the shtick of it is very overplayed, in my opinion, within these two scenes. It's big, but it's so big. I will be honest, this scene did turn me off a bit. It's what comes afterwards, what I enjoyed. But you feel differently, that's fine.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, no, I absolutely feel it. I love the opening scene. From the opening scene, I was completely drawn in. I just love their banter. They're very natural back and forth, very cute, very endearing. And she didn't annoy me at all. And I do like some of their little lines there together. And she's from Haddonfield, Illinois. I mean, she doesn't say Illinois, but she's Bethany Lynn Goolsby from Haddonfield. I love the little banter they have back and forth about that's related to him going to forage for food. To bring back to her after a long winter. I just found it very charming. I was like, oh my God, this is so funny. And they play so well off of each other. So I love their little quirks that come out of these two characters right away. His carries throughout the whole film. We only see her in the opening scene and the last scene. I can see if she was in the movie more, where her character may become annoying. But I mean, she's in the movie a total of 5 minutes, if that. So I didn't find it annoying at all. And actually, I mean, the ending didn't need to happen, but we'll get there. But I like the opening scene. And like I said, Sarah Silverman generally annoys the fuck out of me. So the fact that she didn't, super cool. And I find I feel like his interaction with her in this scene lends itself well to his character's like motivations and sort of what's the word I'm looking for?
Mental state?
Yeah, but I'm thinking more along the lines of he becomes like not quite sure what he's doing is necessarily the right thing for him at some point.
Yeah.
And I feel like this opening scene, to focus on his character with this other quirky, normal character, as you said, gives us a glimpse of like his true self outside of the influence of his brother.
Yeah.
And that fucking bitch that you said all the characters are likable. No, I could not stand this Mimi character at all. I could not stand her. And I know you're not supposed to, but they try to make her charming and it's just not working for me at all.
Mimi, you think I think Mimi is meant to be as detestable as possible from right off the bat.
Well, no, there's moments where they try to make her charming and it's just not working for me.
And I think like this opening scene, like, as you know, whether I'm annoyed or not with the performances, I do want to reiterate the character of Anson. You go into it not knowing anything about him, but you quickly learn that he is a very different individual. And the only kind of person I think he's going to connect with on that level is somebody who is different for their own reasons. You know, unique, different, quirky. So I think there's a reason for Sarah Silverman's character to be written the way she was, as big as she was and as over the top, because they're different people. They're weird. They're strange. It makes sense to me. It does make sense why it's written that way.
I just feel like there needed to be, because Anson becomes pretty much our main character outside of Carrie, played by Sutton Foster. But I feel like it was really important to have a scene with him that was by himself outside his brother, because obviously his brother, as we get introduced to his brother is the more like dominant one. So I thought it was important for us to see a scene of how this Anson character would act if he wasn't with his brother.
Yeah, and I do want to communicate that his brother, Steph, is played by Jimmy Simpson, who is, you'll know as Liam McPoyle from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, who is disgusting, but he's also really good at playing like forceful, aggressive, dominant personalities. And he's perfect. Like, he's probably the best casting in this whole film. When he's on camera, he dominates this film.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. So the opening is definitely comedic. It definitely is, if you're going into this not knowing anything about it, you see this opening scene, you are not going to anticipate this movie in any way being a horror movie. I'm going to say that. This movie does not open in any way like a horror movie at all.
No, and we do acknowledge that the film takes place on Halloween night. So it is a Halloween horror film. I mean, the characters throughout the film are dressed up in their Halloween costumes, and we get Halloween night. We after this opening scene with Anson and Bethany at this convenience store, it shifts to Raul's Mexican Cuisine, which is a Mexican restaurant that is basically closing for the evening. And we have one of our staff waitresses, or one of our staff, I think she's a waitress, Cricket, is outside for a cigarette, talking on the phone, and she has her misbehaving costume on. She's like a naughty prom queen, misbehaving.
She's my favorite character.
Is she? Okay.
Cricket is my favorite. I think she's played perfectly. She is portrayed by Molly Ephraim. I hope I said that right, but horror fans will recognize her from Paranormal Activity 2 and Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. But she's very comedic in this specific role. And she plays like a bitchy, pretty waitress. And that's about all I can really give you on her. But she doesn't, she's just perfect in the role. Every line she states has like a kind of a bitchy tone to it. She's very self-obsessed. But she has some moments of revelation as it evolves. It actually, she just has a really great performance here. I really enjoy her. But yeah, so she goes in, she starts cleaning the fish tank. She makes a line about this fish tank is going to be the death of me, which is definitely like foreshadowing to what's about to come. And we're basically kind of introduced to the entire staff of this Mexican cantina. We go into the back of the kitchen. We are introduced to Winketta, who's played by Gabrielle Sidibe, and Yannick, who is the chef, and they're kind of going over a test that she's going to be taking, a history test, and they're going about it in a very playful way that establishes their friendship right off the bat. And the test does bring up the topic of the Army of Portugal cipher, which is very specific, but it comes into play later as well.
Yeah, it comes into play many times, and I felt like I needed to stop and like Google it. I never did, but I was just like, why did...
It's basically a way of that they use to communicate by hiding messages within other messages, and it does come into play in a specific way here towards the end of the movie. But you get a really clear, established connection between the whole staff of characters right off the bat. These people get along. I think this had to be a really fun set to be on. Like, every moment these people are together, there's chemistry and a large likability factor, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Gabourey Sidibe's character in this film, even though in Borderlines, and I hate to say this, but I feel like this film definitely is not very politically correct. Also, we need to put that out there. So if you're easily offended by slurs, racial stereotypes, things like that, don't watch this film, because we don't need a cancel gravy hashtag trending because you can't take humor. No, let's be serious. Let's be serious.
Right. Especially right before Thanksgiving, we don't need a cancel gravy, because then people misconstrue it.
I'm being 100% serious though, because this film does definitely have some stuff in it that can be misconstrued if you don't have a sense of humor. Her character is very stereotypical.
Yeah.
But I love her performance in this. I think this is probably one of the better performances I've ever seen her give outside of Precious. I mean, we have to keep in mind this is an Oscar-nominated actress. I was never a huge fan of her performance in American Horror Story because I felt like she was kind of wooden, and the rest of the cast members overshadowed her. I feel like this is material that she's having fun with. It feels like she's comfortable with it. Her line delivery is some of the best in the film. Especially a scene later on that's coming up.
One thing I want to say based off what you're saying here, because I think this is something that's going to come up a few times, is the socially acceptable dialogue, and some of the choices that are made.
Yes.
I think one thing that needs to be acknowledged is it's very clear that everybody involved in this cast is very in on it, on the joke of the whole thing. Her character, to a certain extent, is kind of a cliche, but I wouldn't use any of that as a detriment to her. She's not stupid, and it's very right off the bat. It is mentioned that she is about to take one of her college tests, and she is going to be leaving the cantina next week because she's one of the people who's in college and going off pursuing bigger, better things. So I think when they do have some of these moments of non-PC humor or commentary, it's very much to make certain characters look worse. And one of the things I want to say, because we're about to be introduced to this character, Mimi, and I hear what you're saying with aspects of maybe trying to make her seem endearing or likable. I think the big thing that I take away with the character of Mimi is we get these three characters who are antagonists, but two of the antagonists have a certain kind of humanity to them in a weird way. It's hard to describe. She represents the complete loss of humanity and care for the humane elements of what's about to happen. She is constantly throwing out slurs. She says faggot. She's at one point someone speaks in Spanish and she says, "I don't speak poverty." I think she's supposed to be wretched, a horrible human being.
But that's my point. We get that.
Yes.
I think we understand that, but there are some viewers that maybe don't understand nuance or and they're gonna be like, they're just gonna flat out hear the word faggot and be like, oh my god, this film is homophobic. I mean, look at the whole, I hate to bring this up, and it's a film, I don't know if but the word faggot in this film is thrown out very much as an insult. Very much the same way that if you going back to Jason, Freddy versus Jason, Kelly Rowland's character saying faggot, I still hear that brought up on gay, in gay horror groups about being, offensive. They need to go back and take that word out of the film, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
But there's a point to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was the one thing I was thinking of when I was watching this film is, I'm like, shit, there are people literally, and I can think of them online that I see posts that are constantly offended by everything, that would watch this movie and totally not be in on the joke and be like, oh my God, that movie's racist. Oh my God, how can you watch that? But with that said, fuck them, because I had a blast with this film and I get it.
Thank you. And that's honestly one of the main reasons I want to put that out right now, put that out there. One of the main reasons I picked this, Troy, is because we've had this dialogue before, is because of the usage of that term. Because she uses it very prominently.
There are slurs basically projected to every sort of minority group out there. It's not just the word faggot. There are, the film has its share of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
We also have to keep in mind the director is I believe James Rodriguez. He's Hispanic, so he's definitely in on the joke itself, particularly the Hispanic jokes and slurs that are thrown in at the Hector character throughout the film. Because even Cricket has some pretty, I would say, questionable dialogue that's bordering like offensive in terms of what she says about like the comments she makes about Hector and Hispanics and stuff like that. So, the whole film, but I get it. And I'm just going to say, like, if you don't get it, don't watch the movie.
Yeah,
it's not for you. If you know it's not for you, don't get it. It wasn't meant. Shut it off. It wasn't meant for you. If you are going to be offended by a film that is obviously a black comedy, if you're more offended by them using the word the F word, or some sort of joke about a language, then you are seeing people being brutally eaten alive, then that's an issue.
Absolutely, because at the core, these are bad people. And aside from using derogatory terminology towards people, these are also people that they're trying to eat as well.
They're trying to eat these people. Okay, so let's put that out there. I feel like we're getting out. We could talk about this for an hour. We're already a half hour in, and we're only like 5 minutes into the movie, so we need to pick up the pace. So, yes, Raul's Mexican restaurant. We get introduced to all of the characters. Winketta is, I think she's a waitress, right? Or she's some sort of, I don't know what. She's dressed as a police officer for her Halloween uniform. Yannick is the chef. Hector is like the bus boy who's dressed as a boxer. He also boxes on the side. We already mentioned Cricket. And we get Carrie Sutton Foster, who I believe is the bartender.
She's the bartender, yeah. And it's her last day. This is her last day at the cantina. She's dressed like a football player. And she's serving an individual named Bert at the bar.
Oh, Bert.
Bert is a very sad, very Jewish man.
Bert.
Who has he just attempted to propose to his longtime girlfriend.
Yeah.
And it went horribly wrong.
Well, she came out as a lesbian.
She came out as a lesbian and disclosed that she is leaving him for a woman, and so he's in mourning. And so he goes upstairs.
He's in the bathroom for half the movie.
He
Not
goes upstairs
oblivious to what's going on. Yeah.
Carrie's like, "You're an oak." She's like trying to build him up, and he is a very sad, pathetic man all throughout the film. But very entertaining.
I love him though.
I love his dialogue.
To give him a hug, and then the ending. I'm like, oh no.
I know.
Again, I just think I think Gabourey Sidibe is hilarious in this. I love there's a line because one of the waitress. Chewy, right? Is that his name? Chewy, the owner. The owner. He had to take. He's not there at the moment because he had to take Melissa, another waitress, to the hospital because her water broke. And I love Gabourey. She's like, that hoe, she was walking with a quesadilla and her water broke and leaked all over the carpet. The way she says it though is so fucking funny. A quesadilla. She had a quesadilla.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. I feel like with all of these characters, they're really tuned in on the humor of this and the kind of. I don't know if you've ever worked in a restaurant. I don't know if you listeners have ever worked in a restaurant, but there's a certain mentality that goes on behind the scenes.
I've worked at the only restaurant I've worked at, Roger. Here we go. Here's Troy's life story. No, just kidding.
Oh God,
no, it's not. But I worked at a buffet on a casino.
Oh, yeah. I love a buffet.
Yeah, me too. Although you wouldn't if you knew what went on in the kitchen. Trust me.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. But I worked at Applebee's for years, and I can see this being very much like an Applebee's.
Yeah, I could see that.
And let me tell you, like, there's a certain kind of chummy humor that everybody has.
Well, you become... I mean, I've worked at places where there's like a small staff, and you really become super close. You're like family. Like I worked at a video store, a Hollywood Video in high school. I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. And it was just a bunch of us young high school students, and then the manager, who was pretty young herself. The only reason she was the manager is because her dad owned the franchise. And we just had a blast, and you just get this camaraderie. And I feel like it's something people can, I think, relate to. Everyone, like you said, everyone in this cast is likable with the exception of one, and they're having a good time. And when I say she's not likable, she gives a great performance. I just hate the character.
She's an awful human being, but I think she's supposed to be. So I mean, yeah, but I do think that you use the term family, and I think that really resonates with at least the group of protagonists. There's a very family energy, and like there's a moment with Chewie and Hector, even, where Chewie, who is the owner of this restaurant, who is Hispanic, basically like tries to motivate Hector to be the Mexican with the lexicon, to speak better, to speak like more grammatically correct, and he's like trying to motivate him to do better, because I think they kind of hint that Hector had like a prison background and everything, but but now he's like boxing and he's getting his life together, and Chewie is like supporting him, and he's got his back, and you see these like in the little bit of time you have before shit hits the fan, you get some really like lovely moments between the cast, so it makes it extra sad when shit does hit the fan, because it's coming. They do learn that the doors are all like locked, by the way, which they come to find they're actually welded shut, but they can't get any of the doors open. So people are like, throughout like the basic commotion of closing, everyone's kind of like, what's up with the doors? What's wrong with the doors? And they're not really noticing it right off the bat. It takes them a minute to understand exactly what's going on, but they do notice that in the corner of the restaurant, there is a couple that is still there half hour after close, aggressively making out in this booth. I mean, they are riding.
Well, she's right. She's right.
I mean, they're definitely dry fucking in this booth.
Yeah. And who goes over to break it up?
Winketta. And she Winketta, like, she's like, y'all gotta get your ass to a Ramada stat. And they like continue to make out. And the one girl, who we find out is Mimi, is dressed up like a pussycat. And she's like, you're the dirtiest pussy I've ever seen. And they're like not phased. They just keep on going at it.
Yeah. And in the meantime, Chewie comes back, and he wants to gather the group in the back. He got a flan cake for Carrie because it's their last night, and they all sing for she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly... Send her off. They give her a gift. And then there's a montage of them just doing some shots as Bert is like up in the bathroom, and he finally kind of comes to and starts to come down, leave the bathroom and come down. And okay, can we mention the song? The soundtrack in this movie is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
We forgot the movie. Okay, Roger, we forgot to mention. How did we forget this? The movie opens with fucking Tears for Fears, sowing in the seeds of love.
Yeah.
The seeds. Okay, and then we get all kinds of, you get all kinds of 80s gems in this film. However, this song is perhaps my favorite, and I've never heard it, and I was like rewinding it just to listen to it over and over. Farm Animal Friends. What the fuck song is this, Roger? Farm Animal Friends.
It's like a honky-tonk, like, kid song. I mean, I don't know where they fucking got it. But it's played
during their drinking montage.
Yeah.
And when Bert, like, walks and falls and hits his head, there's this song, Farm Animal Friends are my favorite friends. They go, wah, wah. See, I got it memorized. I told you. I
thought my performance of Anything Goes was the musical number of the night, ladies and gentlemen. But the Tony Award does not go to Sutton Foster. It goes to Troy. But yeah, no. I mean, honestly, the soundtrack is unlike any other movie I can think of, because you get some really fucking weird, obscure songs like Farm Animal Friends, but then also they obviously have the ability to get some like iconic classic songs. I mean, like, as you'll hear as we go on, there are a few moments where I'm like, how the fuck did they manage the rights to this one? But they did it. So between a stellar cast and a great soundtrack, you can't go wrong. But so as this is all happening, you basically see the individuals within the restaurant who've been making out rise up and kind of culminate together, along with a third figure that we find out is Anson, who is now dressed up as a clown. And he's been actually blowtorching the doors shut. So Anson, who up to this point has been a very likable character, very innocent, I would use that word. Like, his humor with Sarah Silverman earlier and everything was just so sweet and innocent. And you start to learn, like, oh my god, these people are actually the villains. And the reason that's unique and intriguing is because they very much look like average, everyday people. They're all in Halloween costumes. Mimi's dressed as a pussycat, Anson's dressed as a clown, and Steph is dressed like a, I don't know, like a Swiss boy, or like maybe like a Robin Hood or something.
It's Robin.
Yeah, it's Robin
Hood.
Hood. But like, it is very not intimidating upon first impression. And that is so different from what you normally expect with the antagonist of a movie such as this. These characters aren't trying to make themselves look scary, look intimidating. It's what they're about to do that's actually fucked up. They're just dressed up in any old Halloween costume, what have you, you know?
Well, we get introduced to them being villains is the way we get introduced to them being villains is because Chewie asks Winketta to go check the door because it won't open. So he tells her to go check the door from the outside and see why it won't open. So she goes, and at the same time, Cricket decides she's going to go as well because she's leaving. So she's like, you can just walk me out to my car. And so
she says, the freaks are out tonight and I'm a tiny white princess with natural boobs. So like, that's her reason for wanting to be escorted outside.
So she thinks she's leaving. So as they're walking down this hallway, Winketta is in front of her. She's behind talking. And all of a sudden a hand reaches out and grabs Cricket and pulls her into this room. As Winketta goes down to the door, this is when she sees Anson there basically welding the door shut. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, oh, well, I'm welding the door shut. You know, I'm from the outside, from the inside even. And this is when we find out, that now Cricket is in the other room tied to a chair. And Winketta goes to try to save her, and Steph puts a knife to her throat. And
we don't need another hero. A great Tina Turner reference.
We don't need... And then he asks her name, and she's like, fuck you. And he's like, fine, I'll call you Roz. So he calls her Roz.
For the rest of the movie, she's referred to as Roz for the rest of the film.
Yeah, well, then they go in the back kitchen and get all of the other remaining employees and basically tie them to chairs.
Yeah, well, this is an interesting example. Well, first I want to acknowledge a one-liner. When Ken is like, do not put that orange in my mouth, motherfucker. And Steph, without a beat, because his delivery of humor is just amazing, he goes, it's a tangerine, and it's in season. And he like forces it in her mouth. So these are all tangerines, let us just acknowledge. But the moment in which they go back to the kitchen and capture, basically corral up everybody and, you know, get them to be tied up. They walk down the hallway, they turn the corner, and you don't see what happens. You only hear the commotion, but then you start to hear Carrie screaming, and the camera kind of does like a cool, weird, distorted kind of sway, and it's all very trippy, but honestly, like, this movie is very humorous, but that doesn't mean it's scared to get dark. There are some moments that are not humorous. There are some moments that are off-putting or uncomfortable. And I found this little moment, as subtle as it is, to be actually very creepy. The fact that you only hear the commotion of them all being, you know, taken hostage, and you can hear the woman screaming. It didn't feel humorous. It didn't feel silly. It just felt creepy. And there are several moments like that throughout the course of the movie where they choose to stray away from the humor of the moment and make it either something scary or something maybe kind of like sad and human, which is another thing that I would not expect from this movie. But yeah, so I thought that moment was just kind of a standout moment in the way they executed it. And then yes, it cuts to everybody tied up, taped down to these chairs, tangerines in their mouths, and the three villains take the stage.
Steph proceeds to tell the group that he has basically one rule for them, and it's to shut their fucking mouths or he's going to stab them in the liver with his sword.
His Flintstone-sized fillet knife.
His Flintstone. I was trying to think of what he said. His Flintstone size. And I mean, there are just so many little like moments in this film that are just so minor, but so funny.
Yeah.
And it's like, I love when he asks them to repeat it back to him. He's like, okay, what was my one rule? I need to hear it back. And they're all just like different. They're like, oh, don't talk or we're going to get it. And they're all just saying it a different, it's funny. It's just funny. I just laughed. I don't know why. I just found it funny.
Yeah. The dark humor is on with this film. Like they hit way more often than they miss, I would say.
Chewie obviously offers to give them the restaurant's money to let the group go. And we realize they tell them, the villains tell the group that the phone lines have been cut, doors are welded shut, there's no windows, so nobody's really going to know you're in here. You can't get out. That is what it is. Chewie, like I said, offers to give them all the money, and the group like argue, and this just shows you like how close they are, because they're like, because Chewie's like, I'm the only one that knows the safe. The combination, and they're like, four of them are like, no, you're not, we know it, because they don't want him to be left alone. So again, just one little minor thing that just shows you how close this group is. And they start to realize slowly that why would robbers not just come in and demand the money right away or demand the safe combination right away? Why would robbers take the time to weld doors shut? You know, why would robbers corral everybody and tie them to chairs? So they realize that these people are not here to rob this restaurant. And they ask, Carrie blatantly says, you're not here to rob us, are you? What are you here for? And this is when we get this slow motion montage of the three villains. Steph begins to lick Cricket's nose and eye, and then Mimi starts to lick inside Hector's ear, and it's just a slow motion montage that goes on for, I don't know, maybe a minute of just close-ups of tongues going into ears and tongues going on noses, and it's just really uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, especially as you're seeing the other people in the group watching on and not being able to do anything. And it's kind of just basically they're kind of just intruding their personal space, just kind of establishing dominance over this group, because the group has realized at this point, like, yeah, they're not being robbed. It's an old school pseudo-European gangster style slumber party, in Steph's words. And what they want is not the money, it's the people. And so Chewie kind of loses his shit, and he asks what they want. And Steph straight up admits that they want, in his words, everything, the whole chimichanga. And this is when Winketta basically starts to talk back. And she acknowledges that this is some sick white people only shit. And she's screaming at them, and she's just
I love it. I love it. This was the line delivery I'm talking about here, that I thought was just stellar, because you could tell she was just having a blast. I love. She's like, I should have known your pasty asses when you were what she said. I should have known your dry humping pasty asses were up to no good. Yeah, this is some. I ain't going down without a motherfucking fight. This is some white people shit, and she's just going off. And Mimi looks at her very coldly and says, Roz, shut up or you're going to lose your voice. And I didn't get it at first. Like, I had no idea what was coming when she said that. Winketta keeps screaming at her. She goes behind her and starts grabbing her. She's like, just get off me, ho. Don't touch me, ho. Get off me. And all of a sudden, Mimi leans in and bites her throat open and rips her voice box out. And blood just starts erupting everywhere. It's just so abrupt. I was like, what the fuck? I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah. I think they intentionally ensured that the first act of violence was one that completely took you by surprise. Because for the rest of the movie after this point, you are not really prepared for anything. It's no holds bars. Anything can happen. No character's safe. And just the fact that they were just so out of nowhere. Like Mimi just, without hesitation, just kneels down, like bends in and fucking bites it out. She starts chewing on it. And she's smiling about it, and like she's playing with it as she's eating it.
No,
and
she's eating it.
Yeah, and the blood is spraying all over Cricket. I mean, it's gruesome.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. And of course, obviously, the group is just mortified at just what happened. That basically, this is when the killers admit that they are there to eat everybody. We're going to eat every last one of you. Every eve of every hollow.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
Yeah. And Anson does acknowledge that there's a mission statement, that they don't normally eat the people living. And he does point out right off the bat that Mimi is breaking a rule, to which she states that rules are meant to be broken. But she's already showing signs of butting heads with Anson, like right off the bat.
Yeah, they butt heads the whole movie, which definitely plays into, the ending of the film going the way it does. Chewie is like, what do you guys want? And Steph is like, you know what? I'll let you go if I can basically play William Tell with you. So he takes Chewie, puts him in the chair, puts the tangerine in his mouth and puts one on his head, and then proceeds to get blindfolded and have a bow and arrow. He's like, if I shoot it off your head, we'll let you go. So he pulls the arrow back and lets it go. And there's this like cool slow motion shot of the arrow traveling through the air in front of everyone's face as they're watching it go by. And it hits an orange, or a tangerine, I guess. And so we don't really know what happened until we see like a tangerine fall on the floor. And then there is a pullback shot of Chewie with the arrow through his mouth out the back of his head. It went into the tangerine that was in his mouth. So now Chewie is dead.
Yeah, within a matter of like a few minutes, they have basically disposed of two characters. Now, when Keta is not dead, she's just bleeding out. But like, let's be real, she has no voice box. It's only a matter of time. So pretty quickly, they're like getting into the rhythm of things with this now. And as I stated before, nobody is safe because, now Chewie is just dead. And Steph states, I missed the target. To which Mimi says, but you hit the tree. And with that, they have Yannick, the chef, get up and go to the back with them and require that he starts preparing the bodies for a feast.
Yes, they use the ploy of, we will let you go at the end of the night if you follow our direction. And our direction basically, with each of these bodies, you are to make a different cuisine.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, they chain him up, they put a chain around his neck and everything, they chain him in the kitchen. He really doesn't have a choice. And he is a good chef. Like, he lists his experience to Steph. Steph asks him, hey, are you just a one-trick pony, or what's your experience? And he lists this extravagant experience. Like, his father was one of the top chefs in France, and he went to this well-known chef school. He's like, so I have the credentials.
He apparently once brought a 57-year-old woman to climax after eating his beef bourguignon.
Yeah.
So that is another thing he has to his name. Apparently, he is that good of a chef, but he's working at this cantina.
And that is the thing, is Steph keeps asking him, why are you working here then? This little like hole-in-the-wall cantina. It doesn't make any sense. So he actually agrees, and he starts basically preparing a meal using Chewie. In the meantime, out in the dining room, the group's still tied to the chair, and Anson is proceeding to want to play a game of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
The center of the cinematic universe.
The center, as he says, it's not Brian Cox. It is Kevin Bacon, unless you are an uncultured swine.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just so funny. Like, I'm just like, where this dialogue is just out of nowhere, because like the very first actress that he lists, because basically if you can get 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, then you get a prize. And the very first actress he lists off is just so random. It's Tuesday Weld. And like nobody knows who it is, and even Hector's like, Tuesday Weld, is that a person or a thing?
But like, what makes this whole bit really hilarious is how seriously everybody playing.
Everyone is really taking. Well, Cricket even comes up with the fucking answer, and you're like, there is no way this girl would know who Tuesday Weld was and be able to do a 6 degree.
She does it. She's like, now tell me what I fucking want.
Yeah. It's like some random movies I've never heard of, but I'm sure they're right because like one of them was A Few Good Men, Will Wheaton, and it was so random.
I love it. It's so stupid, but I love it. Yannick is in the back, meanwhile, preparing the first course, which is loaded nachos.
God, yes! With like guts in the middle. Like there's a scene of him scooping out like guts from his stomach and like putting it in the center of these nachos like it's salsa.
One of the best aspects of this film, I'm going to say it right now, there are several sequences where Yannick is like presenting his like the next course of a meal, and characters like the cannibals like sample it, and they're
in heaven.
They are entranced by everything he crafts. I mean, like, it looks... I'm not a cannibal. I have never wanted to eat a human in my day. But my God, do they make these meals look fucking good. These nachos, every time, like, someone eats a piece, it, like, you get, like, a slow motion of the food item going up to the mouth. And the way that, like, Steph plays off, like, rolling his eyes back and just, like, like, God, they make it look good.
Oh, it does. It's like, I was trying to figure out, those are nachos. So these are just, you have a whole human being there laying in front of you, and you basically used very little of him because it's just a plate. It's just a normal sized plate with just some nachos around it with the guts in the middle. But they're loving it. They're loving it. In the meantime, they go out to the group and they're still playing the game, and the group's watching them eat these nachos that they know are Chewies. And now they're still playing the game of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. And Mimi is getting like really bored with this game. She's like, come on, this is fucking boring. There's a little banter between her and Anson where you can tell the tension is amped up. He even tells her to eat a bucket of hot dicks.
His comebacks are so, like, uncultured and childish. Like, for being a cannibal, like, he's such, like, a boy. It's so...
But then he knows, but these random, like... Because the next actress that he throws out to try to see who's going to win the next round is Lillian Gish. Lillian fucking Gish.
And it's Carrie is the one that gets it. And she, like, the final one that she says that they were in the movie and together was, oh my God, what was it? It's that movie with the dog. It's
yeah.
My mom and I used to watch it when I was a child. Give me a second. I gotta think of it.
Will Wheaton is in it, right? Isn't that the
Will Wheaton? Because Will Wheaton plays the nephew in it.
And even the one kid, he's like, oh, Will Wheaton did he play the nephew? And she's like, yes.
It's so specific. It's so like, and she's so intense when she's delivering because obviously, like, it's a matter of survival for her. But she's like going through it, like naming all of these movies. It's so fucking random.
And at the same time, Steph is kind of making comments about Winketta. He's like, well, she hasn't answered anything, and like they're like, dude, she has no voice box. You know, what do you expect her to do? And it's funny that I love that. I mean, it's just random shit like this that just made me laugh. And I don't know why, but Hector's like, well, it wasn't fair to her anyways, because she doesn't know any of these damn movies. She likes urban films. And he's like, if you would have given her something with Morris Chestnut or some other, I can't remember the other. And I love this because she perks, she has her fucking throat ripped out, but she hears Morris Chestnut and she perks up and she's like, trying to say something.
Yeah. She's like opening her mouth. The movie, by the way, was Hambone and Hilly, and I did own it on VHS. It was my mother loved Hambone and Hilly, but yeah, no, poor Winketta. Like, I mean, like, what is she going to do? Like, this is obviously a very like verbal based competition. Like, she can't do anything, so they basically acknowledge that she's the next loser by default, and Steph stabs her through the torso with an arrow.
Yep, kills her because Because he tells her it's not fair to you, is it, Winketta? So here, you might as well you're out. Stabs her with an arrow. At the same time, Bert comes down and sees them and just starts freaking out and literally starts just running through the restaurant from door to door. And the group is just sitting there watching him just scream and run from door to door trying to get out. It's just so stupid.
Oh my god, it's so fucking absurd. And what is the song that they use for this? It's the Benny Hill like it's just to make it that much more absurd. But like, he's such a like sad and pathetic individual that he like really can't defend himself in any situation anyways. So his response to this is just such like sad fear. When they go to like hunt him down, Mimi doesn't want to, but Steph tells her that if she goes and, like, you know, wrangles him up, that it can be her squeaky toy for the rest of the night. And so that's how she gives in, and she now hunts him down. She does,
but there is a little exchange between her and Anson, and I could not hear what she said to him, because then he says something back, and like he threatens her, right? He's like, don't you ever, you know, if you ever do that, say that again, you don't ever say it. And she's like, don't you threaten me. But I could not hear what she said to him. But this is when she calls him a faggot. She's like, You're a faggot. And he's like, oh, that's real mature. What else you got in your word repertoire there? You going to call me a honky? What about a mongoloid? You got that in your repertoire? And she's like, no, but actually that's my new favorite word, mongoloid.
Yeah. This is the point in the film where she really starts just spewing out kind of derogatory, offensive commentary for the rest of it. I mean, that's very much just establishing the kind of person that she is. And the brothers even have a little bit of conversation where they talk about the fact that she's a sadist. You know, I mean, that she's just a hostile, violent person, but Steph can't resist her British accent. So, like, that's the allure about it. And the two brothers obviously, like, are going to have a hard time finding another counterpart, a woman who is also a cannibal. So, like, of course, Steph is, like, entranced with her, because who else is he going to find? So there's this whole dynamic where Steph is madly in love with this girl, and she's obviously has, like, a strong arm on him, because she's like she's hot, you know, she's aggressive, she's dominant, and she's apparently a fucking cannibal. But she's way too eager. Like, that's the thing. Even and Anson's acknowledging, he's like, she is way too fucking eager. And the brothers have like a very like understated conversation about it. Like, in the midst of all the murder and the turmoil, there's all these moments where people will have like these very calm, collected pieces of dialogue. Like, it's even funnier because of that.
They're gonna they take Winketta's body back in the kitchen, and they're gonna make a rump roast from her. That's their initial plan, is they're gonna have a rump roast, because of course they are, right? This is a nice moment between Cricket and Hector, because they're left alone, because at this point Anson has untied Carrie to take him back into the kitchen with them so that she can help them find like the ingredients for the recipes that they're making. Since she works there, she'll know where everything is at. So Cricket and Hector are there, and this is when you kind of get a little moment of humanity from Cricket that you might be talking about, where she talks about how she's been a really shitty friend to her best friend, because this friend of hers has had a huge crush on this nice guy that just happens to be fat. And all she's done the whole time is make fun of him. And the dude's like, Hector's like, well, okay, but how does that make you a shitty friend? Or what are you so upset about? And she says something that actually is very deep. It's because it shows me that she
can be that much more humane.
Yes, that basically that she has more humanity than I do. And then she goes on to say that they need to get out of there, and that he should have actually done something when the group initially tried to tie them up. And she's like, even makes the comment, the little jab about stand and deliver. She's like, you could, stand and deliver. You could have done something. He's like, that movie's about calculus. and then she's like, well, I got something. I sometimes, at special occasions like birthdays and weekends and tests and parties, like basically every day is what she's getting at. She's like, I do a little bit of coke, but I don't know why I do it, because I always feel really bad afterwards, but I do it. And I keep my stash in my panties with a razor blade to cut it. And he's like, you got a razor blade in your panties? And she's like, yes, my poor decision could be our way out of here. So you know what you got to do. So she kind of pulls him out, like tells him he has to get the razor blade out of her panties. But I mean, they're tied to a chair. So the only way he's going to be able to do it right is with his mouth.
To which he says, "Oh, okay, this could get hairy."
I got a Brazilian wax. He's like, it's the winter. She's like, shut up and get down.
Just they're listen. These two, God, I just want them to survive the night and get married.
I know.
Oh, I love them. They're so cute. He is adorable and he's very pretty.
He is adorable.
He's like you could tell he perfectly plays like the former bad boy who's trying to like genuinely reform. And he has these, what I do like to counteract the moments of like, because we were talking about like some of the humor being socially off, but then you also have moments where like he speaks like he's actually very educated, like he's very smart, and some of the things he says are like very calculated. I love his character. I think he's a sweetheart. As the movie progresses, I become sad, as we will learn. But upstairs, Bert is mourning the loss.
Oh my God, this is the one thing I kind of got annoyed by with this character. I love the Bert character, but I could have done without some of these montages of him talking to his wife's or his girlfriend's picture about how he wants her back, and like he's upstairs in the bathroom talking to this picture. He's like, I totally understand you're gay, and you're gonna have to learn a whole new language. And he's like acting like it's some like, I want you to be happy.
But meanwhile, he's like, there's like literally like a visual thought bubble of like his former girlfriend and her new lover like in lingerie, like aggressively making out like on a bed, like with like mist around them. It's funny. It's just playing into how sad and pathetic this character is. But basically, he's hiding under a table and Mimi comes in and finds him. And there's this whole moment where she demands that he stand up, or she threatens to neuter him. He claims that he's a hemophiliac, but then he states he's lying. But
well, because she gets super excited about it when he says she's like, you're a bleeder. No fucking way. You're a bleeder. And he's like, well, no, but not really. But I'm assuming, if you cut me, I'm going to bleed or whatever. And she's like fed up with him. She's like, you are the most pathetic piece of shit I've ever met. And I would never go easy on you. And she goes to punch him. And he actually, the one moment in the movie where he actually does something, he actually moves away from her and she punches through the wall. And he runs away and she chases him. And this is when we get the song playing in the background during this chase scene. I just died in your arms tonight.
Another perfect track.
I died in your arms tonight.
It must have been something. Yeah. This track is like perfect for the energy because they pick a lot of songs that I feel like I would hear in a Mexican cantina. It's either like you're going to be hearing like Mexican, Spanish mariachi music, or I'm hearing like, I don't know, the classic 80s tracks. And it just feels very right for the environment. At times, they actually will, like, you'll be hearing the song as part of, like, the soundtrack of what's going on, and then they'll actually, like, reference it in the moment. Like, in the beginning of the movie, when they were playing Tears for Fears, and then he opened up the cooler, he was actually humming along to it, even though it sounded like part of the soundtrack. So, like, I like how they wean the music into this. It feels really, authentic. But, this cuts into, like, a really fun little chase sequence where Mimi like chases him downstairs and she sees Hector like underneath, like he's on his knees in the chair with his head buried in Cricket's dress. Like it appears as though he's just eating her out. But obviously he's really actually looking for the razor. But in order for them to like, convince Mimi to not kill them or what have you, Cricket just starts like pretending to be orgasming because like she's like what Mimi's response to it is, oh, Last Supper, I can dig it. Like, and she just goes on her merry way to find Bert.
We cut back to the kitchen, right? This is when basically Yannick is telling these guys, because they bring in the body of Chewie, right? And they're like, or they bring in the body of Winketta. And Winketta and Yannick were actually very close, as we gathered at the beginning of the movie. So he's really upset that she's dead. And then they want him to make some sort of dish out of her, although they decide now that rump roast would take too long. So they want him to make something with mole sauce out of her body.
The specifics of the recipes
mole, which I hate. I hate mole sauce. God.
And they basically say they want him to get creative.
Yes. How can you get creative with mole sauce? It's chocolate. Ugh, it's so disgusting. If you like mole, I'm sorry. I don't like gravy, so what do I know? But Yannick proceeds to tell them, you know what, dudes, I'm not falling for your tricks. I've seen your faces. There's no way you're going to let me live at the end of the night. And they're like, well, yeah, that you got a point there, but we can just be on the honor system. And Yannick's like, why am I supposed to believe you guys when you're killing off my friends? I spit on you, and he starts spitting. And, I'm not doing anything. I'll do this because I want my friends to kind of have something good come out of their deaths, and it's a good recipe or whatever. He spits on the ground at them, and they're like impressed by his little outburst. They're like, hey, that was pretty good. He, even the spitting. Yeah,
they're like, he's so hardcore.
He is.
Which Yannick is hardcore. Like, Yannick, you can tell that Yannick's character has seen some shit. And I love his sensitivity. Like, he is so affected by Winketta's death, and like he's even crying over her body. Like, you see a tear drop down on it and everything.
Uh-huh.
But this is kind of when Steph pulls him aside and says, get creative. I want to see what you can do with this next course. But do not use basil, or else I will turn you inside out. And so Yannick takes that, and he remembers it, and he requests a list of supplies to make his next recipe. And the list of supplies he writes down, and he gives it to Carrie, who takes Anson back to the pantry. And this kind of starts the ball rolling with a plan. And I love the direction things go here. It's as though this movie couldn't get any more entertaining. Like, it definitely does. There are a few long-winded conversations, but if you can get through those, I promise you, it pays off. So when Hector insults Mimi in Spanish, she counters with a line where she says, "I'm sorry, I don't speak poverty." We mentioned that earlier. It's just one more of those awful things she says to people. But then she knocks Bert out and basically demands that they keep an eye on him. And if he starts to get up, they call out for her, or else she holds them accountable. She then leaves. She does not notice that Hector has procured the razor blade at this point and is sawing through his restraints.
We are in the pantry with Anson and Carrie, and she has the list. And Anson's making a big deal about how all the words are misspelled. Like, he can't even read what some of it says. He's like, what the hell? What do you think salt is? Salt. And she's like, salt? And he's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. What about pomegranates? What's pomegranates? And everything's misspelled. And he's like, he's just laughing. He's like, this dude doesn't know how to spell. And she's like, well, it could be because he's under a lot of pressure, and you just killed his friends and are asking you to cook them. He's like, oh, yeah, that could be it. And he just keeps bitching about the pantry being unorganized. He's like, this is a fucking mess. Herbs are with spices, and there's boxes mixed together. It's funny.
They do a lot of cut back and forth at this point. I just want to acknowledge they get really creative with their cuts. They do a lot of back and forth. We like to stay linear with our reviews, but it will be very difficult to do that if we literally follow the cut pattern. So I'm going to kind of dwell within a moment and go kind of moment to moment with these scenes, because some of these happen over the course of 3 cuts or so, I would say. But they throughout the course of the pantry, he turns to her and she's looking very intense. And he says, "You got some Manchurian Candidate shit going on?" I really love that line. And she basically takes this as a moment to communicate to Anson that she's crushing on him a little bit. And she slowly starts to seduce him. She starts putting her finger in her mouth and sucking on it and telling him that while it's depraved what he's doing, And while bearing witness to her friend's grisly executions that scarred her for life, she finds him fiercely erotic, and he must be German. And then she puts her finger in his mouth after sucking on it. She knows exactly how to play this fucking fiddle. And I say good on Carrie for making this move.
Yeah, I like that. She's like, you must be German. He's like, I am. I'm a German American. How did you know that? A German American. And she's like, I could sense it. Yeah, and she actually kisses him. And, pretty passionately. And then she even bites his little clown nose off and spits it out. And she spits it out. She's like, I hate that bitch Mimi and how she talks down to you. And he's like, yeah, she is a bitch. She's a mean person, isn't she? And she's like, yeah, but you're not. You're a lover. And he's like, yeah.
You're romantic.
You're romantic. Yes, that's what she said. He's like, yeah, you're right. And this is when he says, he might not be cut out for this anymore. He's just not feeling it. He's like, it's just becoming, too burdensome. And it's been different since we brought Mimi on board. And it's just becoming harder and harder to find places without windows or security cameras to even do this anymore. So this might be his last time.
Yeah, it's an interesting approach to have this character as one of the three focal villains also having these aspects of, like, I don't want to say regret or remorse, but, like, he's starting to question it. And I think that the character of Carrie doesn't have a lot of dialogue throughout the course of the initial, like, hostage sequence and everything going on, because you can tell she's intelligent, you can tell she's listening, and you can tell she's kind of soaking up what's going on around her. So you can observe and acknowledge that by this point, she has a grasp on kind of who this guy is, what his weaknesses are, and the tensions that exist between him and Mimi. And she very much starts to poke at that. And while those tensions already exist, she is adding fuel to that fire. And Carrie's overall approach to handling this is very well played. I mean, we've definitely seen this happen in stories before where people feign, like, romance or interest in order to, like, get things the tide to turn in their direction. But this is a very well played piece of dialogue. It's a very well played moment, and it is very consistent with the story.
Well, in the meantime, we forgot to mention that Carrie does figure out that someone is allergic to basil through the ingredient list that Yannick wrote out. So she has to, when she's in the pantry, she has to sneak the basil out of the pantry. So she right away knows, because she even asked she's like, who the hell would be allergic to basil? And we cut back to Hector and Cricket. And actually, this is another sweet moment. Hector asks Cricket out on a date. He's like, hey, if we get out of here alive, you want to go on a date with me? And she's like, oh, well, yeah. She basically says, yeah, she makes some comment about him being old enough to have, or born, I can't remember, something about Menudo, which I'm assuming it was a jab at his being older than she was. But she does say yes, that she will go on a date with him. And he's like, awesome. So these two are starting to get, be cute together. And you really want to see them end up together because they're endearing. They play well off of each other. But unfortunately, that's not what's in store.
Oh, don't tell them yet.
No,
don't
we
tell
won't
them
tell
yet. Our listeners don't know.
We cut back to the kitchen. Bert now is in the kitchen hanging upside down. He doesn't know where he's confused. He's just hanging upside down in the kitchen. He's like saying something. He's like, oh, guys, where am I at? I'm feeling...
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, excuse me. It's like they're going to answer.
I'm going to bleed to death. And they're like, shh, be quiet. And he's like, okay. Look at it. It's so funny.
The dish made from Winketta is served to the group. And they are fucking in heaven. And here's another use of a song. Walking on sunshine. Hey. And down to feel good. As they're piling Winketta into their mouths. Just.
Oh my God. They're dancing. Like, they've never had anything human before that was this delicious. You can tell this is a first for them. And Steph is dancing, he's backing it up, and I mean, I gotta say, again, I'm not a cannibal, but if this was put in front of me, it would be hard saying no. It looks phenomenal. Props to the chef.
Yeah. It does, and that's the thing is, how often are you going to find a chef that is like so eager to make these dishes out of humans? I'm assuming their past endeavors probably didn't go this well, where they actually found a chef that was so meticulous with his recipes and so creative with his recipes. They basically found the Gordon Ramsay of cooking humans, because the presentation is spot on. It's very nice looking. These dishes are very nice looking.
And Steph acknowledges it. Steph is like, you've got to tell me what you did before this. He keeps asking Yannick.
Yeah, if it was me, would have been just not even. I would have just cut somebody's finger off and threw it on a plate and been like, here.
I wouldn't even be able to cut the finger off. I'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
God. Like, it would be so hard for me to even get through that part of the process, let alone the preparation, the tenderizing. I can't even imagine. But yeah, he seems unfazed by it.
Oh, he's unfazed. But now Anson tells Steph that they need to talk. So they go into the pantry together, and right away, basically, Carrie is left with Mimi, and right away, Mimi gives her this gaze like she knows exactly what's up. It's pretty. I really did like that moment, because Mimi has done the exact same thing that Carrie's doing, as we find out. That's how she got. Yes, this is how she got involved with this group. She was supposed to be an intended victim. Okay, and she turned the tables. It just so happens that she is a fucking psychopath. Carrie is playing along to try to save her life and her friend's life, but Mimi is an actual fucking psychopath. So Anson and Steph are in the pantry, and they basically have a little confession. Anson says, hey, this girl came onto me. She kissed me and put her finger in my mouth, and they're like all excited about it. And even Steph's like, oh, dude, she kissed you? Yeah. And this is when Anson admits that it's been really difficult since bringing Mimi on, that she's changed the dynamic. And this is when we get to the flashback of the year prior. They did the same thing in another restaurant, and Mimi was a waitress, and they killed her boss and cut his head off. And Mimi was supposed to be one of their victims, but she was like, thank fucking God you killed him. Now give me his fucking head. And she takes his head and starts playing with it and, talking in her English accent. And ever since that day, her and Steph have been an item, and she's been part of their little trio. And they've just been waiting a year for this night, because this is her, basically, it's her maiden voyage doing this cannibalistic ritual murder. So Steph is like, just go easy on her. This is her first time. I know she's a little too excited, but it's her first time. Just let's give her some slack. And as they leave the pantry, they're like, hey, Roz, thanks for, the great food. And we get a shot of poor Roz's dead body. It's just basically her top half. Her legs are missing. Her guts are a spew. She's even holding a little pint of ice cream. The little pint of ice cream that Anson bought at the convenience store at the beginning of the movie. I feel bad for poor wink at her, Roz.
Anson says, he says to Steph, he's like, oh, it looks like you had some fun with Roz. And like, they're like talking like really lighthearted. All of a sudden you get this like really like big stinger, like, and it cuts to her body, and it's so over the top gory. Like, it is so much gorier than it even needed to be. But like, it's just to remind you, oh, by the way, this is also a violent horror movie.
We do get a shot back in the kitchen of Carrie passing Yannick the basil, because he's making chili. Anson now has kind of amped up his psychoticness, because he takes poor Winketta's feet, which look disgusting. Like, one's all bloated, because she even says at the beginning of the movie she has, what did she say? She has bunions really bad. So these feet are like the worst look. They're all gnarly and bloated. And
like her. At another point, Steph is like, it took me 5 minutes to get her orthopedic shoe off of her foot. 5 minutes. And it's these little one-lines. They're so fucking good. But yeah, so he takes the feet, and this scene is like so disgusting. It's so gross. He puts the feet down in front of Cricket and Hector, and he's basically like, the next game, basically whoever eats through to the bone gets a bathroom break, and a shot of Bailey's. Only he's informed that they don't have Bailey's, so he upgrades it for Angelico. And so he's insisting that they eat these feet, and he's like, look at that toe. Look at that big toe. Don't you want that big toe? Come on, try it. You've never had it. And everybody is just repulsed by it.
Yeah, and but he does say Carrie's like, come on, honey. I feel like you're not as excited. You need to support me here. I feel like you're not into this. And so she's like, yeah, eat it, you cunt. Eat that foot, you cunt. To Cricket. Cricket's like, you fucking bitch. You traitor bitch. I hate you. And then she's like, go ahead, Hector, eat it. You've probably eaten worse things. You probably had worse things in your mouth in prison. And to that, Anson just starts laughing, and they're laughing at each other. And we see that all of a sudden Anson gets hit in the head with the foot because Hector has cut the ties off his hands and grabbed the foot and hit Anson in the head with it and knocked him out.
Yeah, and he then proceeds to take both feet and just beat him with these feet. It's a really funny moment because they're like laughing at each other in slow motion, like, and then you just see the foot make contact with his head, and immediately Carrie's face just goes like straight face. Like, she's so in on it, it's really well played. Carrie's quick to suggest that they escape through the AC unit upstairs. So Hector runs to the back. He's getting prepared to fight the remaining captors. And when he runs to the back, Anson sits up. He quickly recovers and sits up. And so Carrie has to pretend as though she was not in on it. And he's like, oh my God, yeah, he just hit you out of nowhere. And so Hector comes back in the room, and Anson grabs the axe, and he basically goes to fight. But Anson is like, oh, we're going to do this. Or Hector's like, we're going to do this down here in front of these ladies. Let's take it upstairs. Let's take it up there to what Anson deems their Thunderdome.
Yeah, in the meantime, Yannick is feeding Steph the chili that he made, and Steph again is loving it. Every bite of it, he's just loving it. Mimi's in there, and she's like, she's bored because her squeaky toy Bert has basically gone unconscious again, so he's not reacting to anything she does. And Yannick is like, hey, come try this chili, and she doesn't want to. And this is when Steph is like, Mimi, get over here and try this damn chili real aggressively. And she, instead of trying the chili, she storms out. And as she goes out into the main lobby, she catches Carrie untying Cricket and just starts laughing hysterically. And she's like, I knew you were full of shit. I did the same thing last year. She drops her English accent too, because she really doesn't have an English accent. She's faking the English accent because it turns Steph on.
Yeah, so this whole time she has been brainwashing and manipulating Steph in this relationship only to help appease her own, violent tendencies. It's actually very twisted. And Mimi is definitely, all three of them are formidable foes, but Mimi is the one who is actually, fucking snapped. She really, and again, going back again to all of her dialogue and everything, I think that all hints to that she's kind of just one step over the edge more so than the rest of them. But she gets up on the stage, she unzips her costume a little bit, and she basically announces disco, bloodbath, boogie. She basically announces this gigantic fight that's about to happen. And it cuts into this massive sequence where all of these things start to unfold at the same time. It's really well done, but to dissect it in a review situation, it's difficult. We gotta take it moment by moment.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just kind of briefly highlight what goes on, because it's to try to get into every little detail would be. Cuts back to the kitchen. Steph is now having an allergic reaction. His throat's closing up. He's sweating profusely. He's breaking out. He has realized that Yannick has put basil in his chili, and he is very upset. He is like, I don't know. How could you do that to me? I trusted you, and you still need to tell me why you work at this restaurant. So Yannick basically tells him the story about how he killed somebody It's hard to understand what he's saying because of the accent he's using. It's a heavy French accent. So I was trying to understand what he's saying, but it's something about the last person he worked with wanted some sort of fish, but they demanded that the skin stay on, and it was a poisonous fish. So he ended up like poisoning his last person that he worked for, so nobody would hire him. Was that what you gathered?
With a puffer. It was a
puffer fish.
He used a puffer fish, and he was able to discreetly place the venom in the food so that they didn't notice it. So it hit gradually. And that's alluding to him placing the basil, because, basil has a very specific flavor profile.
Basil does have a distinct flavor. Yeah.
And so he was able to hide it in this chili so that Steph didn't notice it. And so Steph basically just becomes irate and launches into this physical fight. So it's basically Steph is fighting Yannick in the kitchen. Mimi is fighting the girls in the main dining area. And upstairs in the quinceañera party room, you have Hector fighting Anson, and it is like just cutting back and forth. It is fucking wild. Hector is kicking Anson's ass. The girls are basically like getting the best of Mimi for a moment. You even have Cricket like jumping up on her back. And Mimi's like, "You fucking cockroach," and she's like, "I'm a cricket." and Steph is trying to choke Yannick, but he literally takes like a wine screw, like a corkscrew, and he stabs it into his temple. Like, it is so violent. This sequence is so crazy, but it's so fucking fun.
Mimi rips out a chunk of Cricket's hair, yanks her crown out, and rips out a chunk of her scalp and hair. Anson and Hector are on the floor and they bite each other. Like, Hector bites a chunk out of Anson's arm, I think, and Anson bites his leg. And then you cut back to the kitchen, and now Steph is holding Yannick's head down and scraping his cheek with a cheese shredder, which looks painful as fuck.
Oh my god, everything is just so violent. Yannick turns on the stove and takes a boiling pot of water and throws it at him, and his response, he's just like, ah!
Well, it looks painful. His face starts bubbling, turns immediately bright red, and he's just freaking out. Cricket goes to there, and then we cut back. Cricket goes to hit Mimi with a wine bottle as she's attacking Carrie, but Mimi moves out of the way at the last second, and she hits Cricket instead. She hits Carrie instead, knocks Carrie out. And then you get this moment where basically Cricket is like, okay, this means I'm going to die, right? And Mimi's like, well, yeah. And Cricket's only sort of response is, can she die without any more blood? And Mimi's like, yeah, I think I can handle that. Now, this moment didn't make a lot of sense to me because Cricket's character seemed like a fighter. And it seems like she gave up pretty quick. I would have been charging that bitch still. Trust me, I would not just sit there and be like, oh, you can kill me now, but do it with no blood. Fuck no, I'd be charging that bitch. I'd be grabbing shit off the floor. I'd be grabbing bottles. She basically gives in to her death, and I just didn't think that fit the character the whole film. The whole film, she's a fighter. She's trying to come out. She's trying to get out. And then for her, at the very final moment, to be like, yeah, just go ahead and kill me, but just don't do it with any blood. I'm like, no, I needed a fight. I needed to see a fight.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a kind of a bummer ending for a feisty character. There is the moment where Mimi grabs the tiara she's wearing and literally scalps part of her head. She literally rips a chunk of her scalp off. She goes down fighting, but it's finally at the point where she's like, I'm exhausted, I give up. That's basically what happens. And it is a bummer because, first of all, I didn't want this character to die. Second of all, I would have wanted her to have died a little more heroically. But what happens is Carrie comes to, and the first thing she sees is the aquarium from earlier that Cricket actually referenced, that's going to be the death of her. And Cricket is fully bent over and submerged within it. She's just floating there, the poor thing. So yeah, Cricket is now dead. It's such a bummer. But meanwhile, upstairs, because things are still going on, upstairs there's a battle and just going down between Anson and Hector that, like, basically Anson has been brought to his knees because, Hector is like a boxer. This is what he does. But because Hector gets cocky and he makes a comment, y'all ever seen Roadhouse? Because he's about to do the famous Roadhouse kick. Anson's on his knees. He looks up and he sees this massive, like, ventilation fan in the ceiling. And he just starts laughing. And he grabs Hector by his legs and he just stands up and he lifts him full body into this fan. And he just starts pouring blood everywhere. Like, these deaths, one after another, are so fucking gruesome. And so now Hector's dead. And it's like, oh my god, these guys were so cute. Why? But, like, whatever, I get it.
Well, not only that, but now we get back into the kitchen. Yannick is able to get free from Steph and the cheese grater and stab him in the chest with an ice pick, which in turn infuriates Steph. He slammed Yannick against the counter, grabs his head, and twists it around. Not once, but twice. Like, fully 360 degrees around twice. That looked fucking gnarly, honestly. That was a good effect.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a moment to acknowledge that I think this movie, people categorize it comedy horror because it's very funny. But this movie contains some of the more graphic violence I've seen in a movie in a while. Like, you're about to have a moment where you have Steph, like, they stumble upon Steph. You see Steph's, like, face after this massive battle.
Yeah.
Oh my, he looks fucking wrecked. Like, it is disgusting. And, like, this movie, as much of a black comedy as it is, it does succeed as a horror film in the sense that, like, when a death happens, it is a big death. Almost every time. Every single person that gets killed in this movie goes out painfully.
It looks horrible, and the fact that they do it to the extent where he doesn't, like, drop dead right away, which is, I don't think, what would happen. His head is twisted, again, fully around twice. Not once, twice. And then he, like, you can see his head is backwards, but his eyes are, like, wide. And he takes, like, a couple steps forward before, like, collapsing. It's pretty disturbing, honestly, I thought.
Yeah.
So Carrie wakes up and sees crickets in the fish tank. She takes a shot from a bottle of tequila, and it's really funny because Carrie looks at Mimi, who's, like, standing up on the counter above her, and she's like, it's hard to take you seriously with that giant camel toe.
Oh my god, and Mimi is so offended.
Oh, she's like, you bitch. I have a long labia. It runs in my family.
For somebody who deals out so much, like, violence and, like, awful statements to people, Mimi is someone who can deal with it, but she cannot take it at all. She's dare I say she's a pussy. Pussy cat, but she's a pussy. She can't take any form of an insult or anything. She takes it so personally.
Yeah, she does. It's funny. I have a long labia. It runs in my family. And so she is angered, so she charges at Carrie with the hedge clippers that she's been carrying the entire movie. We didn't acknowledge that, but she has these hedge shears. At the same time, Carrie acts really quickly, breaks the bottle on the side of the bar, and as Mimi is charging her, stabs her right in the chest. Thank fucking God, this bitch is finally dead. With this broken beer bottle, looks her right in the eyes and said, "This is what it feels like to die. Now you and your big pussy go to hell."
It is a satisfying death. And then she takes the garden shears and she scalps Mimi and she lifts up the hair and she says, "This is for Cricket." And I'm like, fuck yes, this is for Cricket. I love this moment for Carrie. Carrie is a badass final girl. Like, she steps it up.
Oh yeah, she does. Anson comes out and sees that Carrie has killed Mimi, and Carrie's response is, "Yeah, she got a little what did she say? She got a little too grating tonight." And Anson's like, "Yeah, okay, cool." So they go into the kitchen.
He does reveal at that moment, like, they have this weird awkward moment where, like, she's not sure if he's gonna be mad, but he's surprisingly okay with it. And she's like, where's Hector? How's Hector? And he's like, oh, I took care of him. And she's like, oh yeah, good. Like, because she has to play along as though she's cool with it. And then she's like, how's your arm? And he's like, oh, yep, looks like he got that pretty good. That's my bone. And you just see a giant piece of his arm is just like busted out. Like he got his ass kicked. So like, he's definitely like, I mean, his teeth are knocked out. He's still walking, but like he's very injured at this point.
But okay, so they go into the kitchen and they see this is funny. This is hilarious. They see Yannick's body with his head twisted around. And if you didn't get this joke, I was like, how fucking clever is this? It's so fucking obscure, but it makes perfect sense. If you remember the early 90s rap duo, they were young, like 12-year-old Crisscross. Mm-hmm. Remember, their whole thing was they used to wear their clothes backwards.
Right.
So you have Yannick's head twisted back so that it looks like his clothes are on backwards. And Anson walks in and looks over and he's like, Crisscross will make you. And Carrie does her little jump.
I love how Carrie like has to play along with everything, but you can tell she's so uncomfortable.
It was so funny.
And they then see, this is my personal favorite part of the movie because it's just so absurd. They just see Steph laying, like he's obviously dying. God. He's on the edge of death and he's laying against like the fridge, just his face is brutalized. And Anson's like, oh, hey, buddy. Oh, it looks like he got you pretty good, huh? Big old pumpkin head. Oh, but you're okay. You're good, right? Like, he's, like, reassuring him. And, like, and Steph is like, first of all, he says, I gotta tell you something that's gonna be really hard, okay? Mimi's dead. And Steph is just like, whoa. He can't say anything because he's, like, having an allergic reaction. And so then he tries to explain to Anson what happened. And his tongue is like so oversized.
It's swollen. It's hanging out of his mouth.
Painful. And like Anson's trying to translate it, and like he's trying to say the word basil, but like he just can't get it out. And finally, Carrie's like, he's trying to tell you that I gave him the basil. Carrie just admits it because it's so pathetic. And with that, she just starts like cutting down Bert. Like, she doesn't even really try. The first time I saw this, I thought this was a bad decision, but I kind of get what's going on. She's not even trying to kill them at this point because these guys are so, like, they're pathetic.
Yeah, well, obviously Steph is on the brink of death. Anson is hurt. I mean, he's not going to. So, yeah, she's finally, because he's like, what could he possibly be saying? I don't get what he's saying. And she's like, well, he's saying that I'm the only one that could have given him the basil. And right away, Steph starts shaking his head. Yeah. And he's like, you bitch, you lied to me. And she's like, yeah, I wouldn't even, what did she say? There's no way I would be into a dickless, pathetic, psychopath loser like you as she's cutting Bert down. And his only response is, I have a dick.
And then he's like, I need your help. He's like, help.
Oh, this is funny too. I love, well, it's kind of sad because Steph, whatever, he's dying in Anson's arms, like on the floor, and they're crying. Like, it's obviously that she's walking out with Bert and he's like, I need your help. You're a paramedic, right? What does he need? And she's like, he needs a tracheotomy. And he's like, can you do it? You're a paramedic. And she turns around. She's like, yeah, I don't start till Monday. And walks out. And poor Steph does die. And Anson or Carrie and Bert are like running up the stairs and Carrie takes out a pocket knife. And Bert's like, what the fuck? What are you going to do with that? He has a fucking axe.
Bert's commentary throughout this whole sequence is...
Oh, it's hilarious.
First of all, it's very Jewish. But like, he's like, what are you going to do? Oh, what are you going to do now? Oh, he's got a fucking axe. Like, he's just... And then she goes and she grabs like the crossbow from earlier.
He's like, do you have the instruction manual for that?
He's like, I hope there's a manual. Like, he's just like, do
you know how to use that?
He's not doing anything at all. He's like, oh, if that goes wrong, you're going to shoot your eye out. Like, it just... He's doing nothing to help whatsoever. And they hear Anson's like scream of agony that clues them in that he is snapping and he's going to come get them. So she grabs a crossbow and she loads it. And and Anson comes in slow motion, like jolly, like running at them. His limp, broken arm bobbling, holding the axe. He's got this big smile on his face.
To La Bamba. La 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 Bamba.
Again, whoever fucking scored this movie and picked the soundtrack needs an award, because this is a moment where, like, it just adds so much more energy to it and humor. Like, let's be real, it's very funny for being a very dark moment. But so he comes closing in on them, and then right before he's about to reach them, she shoots the arrow and it goes right into his stomach. And the music stops and he just drops to his knees. He drops the axe and he's like, "You killed my brother." And then I will say Bert has a good line here. He goes, "She killed both brothers." It's another badass moment for Carrie. Like, seriously, she's just knocking him out at this point.
Yeah. She stabs him shoots him with the arrow, and she goes over to him and pushes him down. Yeah, she says something to him. Oh, she tells him to burn in hell and pushes him down, and they proceed to run upstairs. She takes Bert and they run upstairs. And in the meantime, Bert is still like whining about, his girlfriend, and Carrie's like, "You can find another date, Bert. Come on, Bert. We got to get going." And she's like, "What about you?" And she's like, "Not me, Bert." And he's like, You said that so fast." And she's like kicking out the air conditioner, and she gets it kicked out, and she's throwing stuff down the stairs and stuff. So Bert comes over and she's like, "Come on, Bert, we got to get going." So he goes and crawls out head first out of this window, but it's a 2-story window, right? How they did this without, I was going to say how they did this without killing themselves, but Bert goes out head first, and he has this like hallucination of his girlfriend down there telling him to come to her. And Carrie's trying to tell him, "Bert, you got to brace yourself for the fall," but he's having this hallucination. So he just like goes out and lets himself drop. And you just hear this splat. And she's like, "Bert!" And she looks down, and it's basically he's on the pavement, head first, blood everywhere, brains everywhere.
But smiling.
He has a big old smile on his face because
he went out in the arms of his lover, or so he thought. But now it's just her. Like, literally, this whole cantina has been slaughtered.
Except Anson's now still alive, coming up the stairs.
Yeah, and so she starts climbing out through this air vent, and he just grabs onto her leg, and he just chomps down and rips out a gigantic chunk of flesh out of her calf. It looks so fucking painful. It's bleeding all over the place. But she does manage to launch herself and drop to the ground.
Yeah, not head first, luckily. But next to Bert, and she looks over and you see his brains have like splattered out of his head, but he has that big old smile on his face. And she's like, "Bert, I'm taking your moped." So she gets on the moped to get ready to drive away. And this is funny too, because Anson is trying to get out the window, but he can't because the arrow is, through him. So the arrow is catching on the window, so he can't get out. And as she's driving away, she's like, "I beat you, motherfucker! I beat you!" She goes out into the street and immediately is hit by a paramedic truck.
And you see it, like it's a well done moment.
Oh my god! And Anson's up in the window just laughing.
And so the paramedics get out, and it is James Rodriguez, yeah. And I can't remember his name, but his co-star from Psych. Like, they made like a cameo appearance as the two paramedics who are both very stoned. And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna get in so much trouble." And so like she's like laying there and she's like, "Am I gonna die?" And meanwhile, the one paramedic is like slowly like walking around to get like all of the equipment needed. And then they bring it over and they go to like hoist her up, lift her up onto the gurney, and they like grab her by her arms and legs, and you just like hear her back like snap. It looks so
I know.
So painful. Poor Carrie. Like, after
they definitely do not follow proper protocol when they lift her off the ground. They both grab her at each end, pull her off the ground, and you hear this crack. And in the meantime, as they're loading her in, she looks up and Anson's not in the window anymore. She's like, he's gone. And they put her in the ambulance and drive away. And then we cut to precisely 54 days later. So now it's Christmas time. because the movie takes place on Halloween. So this is Christmas time. You got some Christmas music playing in the background. Anson's car's parked outside the same little convenience store that the film opened in that Roger did not like. So he's not going to like this part either. And he is pumping himself up. He's dressed real nice. He's in a suit. He has a rose. He's also talking to Stefan, who now happens to be a head on a stick.
Which is a callback to earlier in the movie.
Which is a callback because Stefan did say, if you died, I would pickle your head and put it on a stick.
I'd bring you with me everywhere.
Yes, so Anson did that for him. He has it's basically Steph's head, pickled this head on a stick. And I just love, he talks to me, he's like, okay, but then he just tosses it in the back seat.
He then proceeds to, he goes into the shop where you see Sarah Silverman, Bethany Lynn Goldsby, is working now in a full Christmas attire. And she doesn't recognize him at first, but when she does, she's like, where have you been? What's wrong? Your arm is in a cast, because he still looks beat up. I mean, he's scarred up. He's missing a tooth. And he basically starts to say, like, oh, if, I do need to communicate with you that I am now living off of a colonoscopy bag, possibly for the rest of my life. Like, he goes through all of these issues that he has, but he then basically says, would you like to share a gelato with me? 2 spoons? And she goes, 2 spoons, and she lifts them up. And they have this weird, like, little romantic moment where these 2 strange, quirky people find love together. And I think in a way he learned maybe he didn't need this violence and cannibalism. I'm thinking, and he's found like a normal yet strange person that he's going to be with. And that's kind of like the closure that you feel for this character until you see this moment where it pans back and you see that there's someone watching them taking photos. And lo and behold, it's a beaten and bruised but still kicking Carrie with a camera, snapping photos, smirking and smiling, because she's about to get her motherfucking revenge.
Yes, absolutely. And the film ends. And the closing credits are kind of funny. It's the Mexican restaurant menu, and each of the cast members, each of the actors has their picture on a menu page, but it's like their death scene. And it says something like, it'll say like carnita platter, and you'll see like, the headless, picture of whoever the cast member is. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, so we are left thinking or with the heavy impression that Carrie is getting her revenge.
And rightfully fucking so.
Rightfully fucking so. I wonder if she's probably going to, my impression was she was probably going to kill Bethany first, because that would really hurt Anson.
I'm curious if that's...
And that's why she was taking pictures, because she knows what Anson looks like. She doesn't need pictures of him. She was taking pictures more so to get pictures of Bethany so that she could track her down easier. That's what I thought.
Yeah. What an interesting approach that would be for a sequel.
Yeah, right? Hunting down Sarah
where
Silverman.
she becomes the villainess.
Isn't there a movie called Finding Sarah Silverman? That could be the sequel.
There's a Saving Silverman.
Okay, well, this could be Finding Sarah Silverman, right?
It's going to be a remake called Saving Silverman. It's going to be about you and me. I'm reluctant because I'm not as big of a fan, but you and me going there and finding her and saving her before Sutton Foster gets her musical hands on her. But yeah, that is gravy. And you know what? I'm going to say that. What a fun movie. It's a difficult one to analyze because, my God, so much happens in this movie. It is a constant barrage of just commentary and one-liners and pop culture references. And it's just a barrage of information, to be honest. And it's really fucking fun to watch. I can't recommend this more for, like, if you're looking to get stoned and having a good night. Oh, my God, absolutely. But reviewing this one was difficult. Not that we didn't do a good job, we always do. But like, this movie moves at a very fast pace.
Yeah. It's fun. I really wonder why it kind of went under the radar when it came out with the cast, and just it's such a fun movie. It kind of reminded me of another movie that came out, I think, that got maybe a little bit more attention, but not much more, but I think it's more well known than this.
Can I try to guess it?
Which one?
I was going to guess that you were going to say Club Dread.
No, I was going to say Cheap Thrills.
I've never seen Cheap Thrills.
with Ethan Embry, Pat Healy, Sarah Paxton.
I love Sarah Paxton.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's basically they break into this home and play like it starts out very innocent, like they're playing like games with the homeowner. It starts out very innocent and it just gets progressively more and more dark. It's a horror comedy as well. It came out around the same time. I remember that getting a little bit more attention. Maybe because the cat, I don't know. I feel like this has a cast though that's pretty well known. So I don't know what the deal was. How was this distributed? Did it just go to straight to digital?
Yeah,
or DVD?
yeah. And you know, I will say, like, when you look at this, like, the promotional art looks kind of amateur, like, which is surprising to me. Like,
Yeah, it does.
it doesn't look like it really got, even like the opening credits, like, while fun, like the title sequences and everything look very like hand drawn animation. Like, it doesn't look like it had like the layer of gloss that a lot of these bigger productions get within the finalization and distribution and promotional budget, you know? So yeah, I'm curious as to why. Maybe they just thought like it was too obscure because it's such a dark comedy. It's such a black comedy. Like, the comedy is very prevalent in this. It's not like subtle. It's not like Ready or Not humor. This is like laugh out loud humor, but it's also like extreme gore. So it's like you're trying to find an audience that wants both, and that's difficult. But listen, if you like either, I would say if you're a comedy fan or you're a gore fan, like, check this movie out. Maybe you'll love it, maybe you won't. But this is a film that I went into completely blind the first time I saw it, and I was not expecting anything. And I came out of it thinking like, oh my God, what did I just watch? I will watch it again. And over like the 2 weeks following that, I watched it 6 times. 6!
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, guys, no, seriously, I had never heard of it, as I've said that. And so I watched it going in really knowing nothing about it. I kind of read the plot synopsis that was popped up on Tubi for it. I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. And I really enjoyed it. I watched it 4 times in the last 3 days. I really, really enjoyed it. Like I said, it takes a lot for me to like laugh out loud at something, but I probably laughed out loud more at this movie than I have in any movie in probably a couple of years. And I'm not lying. Like, I thoroughly thought that this film had some of the funniest stuff I've seen in a while. And it's just very subtle. It's not even like in your face stuff. And maybe it's just my sense of humor. Like, I cracked up at that crisscross reference.
Yeah.
I cracked up at several of Gabourey's Sibide's scenes. It's just the humor is the humor's black. It's dark, and like I said, if you're easily offended, the film goes there sometimes, but it works so well. It's a clever script. The direction is spot on. The acting is top notch. All of the characters have little quirks to them. That's what you want to see with a movie. That's the thing. When you have a movie that has an ensemble cast, this is a large cast, right? It's an ensemble cast. It's pretty large. However, none of the characters blend together. They all have little quirks and very distinct personalities that make them stand apart from each other. So every time there's different characters on screen, you're not like bored with any of them because they all very much are their own characters, and it just makes the film that more entertaining. And the chemistry this cast had together was palpable.
Yeah, to go off what you're saying, like, even like a character, like, look at the character of Bert, who like is, I mean, like, if anything, I think maybe they spent, like, if we're gonna nitpick, like a little too much time like delving into his story. But like that is a character that is disposable. Like that character is like, he's just there. He could, in any other movie, he could just be there to be fodder. But they gave him such a specific story, a specific just personality. I mean, like, he was very fine-tuned.
Yeah, we forgot to mention, too, with that character, there are a couple points in the film where he blatantly says he should not be alive. He's like, I don't know how I survived this night. Like, why am I the only one? Why are we the last two left? And then for him just to die by falling out a window that has nothing to do with any of the actual villains killing him. When he has been hunted, he was perhaps the character that was hunted the most the entire night. And for him to acknowledge it, but then to fall out a window of his own doing to his death is just one of the, just with that extra little thing that this movie delivers on. But Roger, I'm so glad you picked this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's probably one of my favorite films that we've reviewed in a while.
No, I'm happy you liked it.
I had a blast with it. I could find myself watching this every year around Thanksgiving and Halloween. And we picked it it's a Halloween film. We picked it for November because gravy, hello, Thanksgiving. And it also deals with feasts. I mean, it's Thanksgiving. What better Thanksgiving feast than to eat some Agabre Cibidae? I cannot think of a better.
Oh my God, how tender. And, well, I think, like, honestly, like, my main reason for wanting it this specific week was because I was like, it is the perfect transitional film during this time period.
Yeah,
you open
I
on
agree.
Halloween. You have this big movie about gorging yourself, and then the last scene takes place on Christmas. Like, it is perfect. Like, I can't recommend it more for this time of year. Check it out. Like we said, it's on Tubi. You'll have a blast. You'll have a blast.
That's how I'm going to leave you. Please watch this movie if you haven't. If you've listened to this review and you think it sounds like something that's up your alley, trust us. We did not give the movie justice. It really needs to be seen to be appreciated. Check it out on Tubi for free. So that is Gravy. Yay. We get some listens for this because it's so obscure, but I think we will. So yeah, shall we reveal our next pick?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please.
Okay, guys. It's Thanksgiving, right? In a couple weeks, and we have some really cool things coming up the last couple of weeks of Thanksgiving with some really cool guests. So, and we let them pick their films, and so we are not constraining them by giving them the criteria that they have to pick something that's Thanksgiving. We don't want to do that. We want them to pick something of their own. We already know what they picked. Two great films that I think we're going to have very great discussions with these two guests. We're not revealing who they are yet, but you'll be excited, or what films they are yet. So we have to do a dead on Thanksgiving episode. It's November, right?
Yes.
So we are doing it. Come on, we're not. We try to be original sometimes, but we are generic gays sometimes, and this is when we're being generic gays, basic bitches, and we're going to choose the quintessential Thanksgiving slasher that everyone knows and loves, called Blood Rage.
When I hear that title, I don't think Thanksgiving. It doesn't come to mind. But I mean, lo and behold,
Roger, the image of Louise Lasser sitting in front of the refrigerator, gouging herself with turkey. Come on.
I know. I'm just saying the title doesn't hark Thanksgiving. The gorgeous.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But you know what? It's one of the few Thanksgiving themed horror films out there. There's not a lot. we're not doing Thanksgiving. That's a piece of shit. I'm not sitting through that. The only other one I can think of is like Home Sweet Home, which is very obscure. Jake what was his name? Jake, the big bodybuilder that stars in that, is the killer. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen Home Sweet Home?
No, I'm not. No.
Okay, and then isn't You're Next? Is that Thanksgiving? I think.
You're Next. No, it's just a family. It's just a family.
Are you
gathering.
sure? Are you sure?
I don't
it's not
think
a holiday.
It's no. You're Next is an anniversary. It's an
anniversary. Okay,
yeah.
I knew it was I love. That's one we will cover.
It's a favorite. It's a favorite.
Yeah, Sharni Vincent. But anyway, so we are covering the '86 slasher flick Blood Rage, which I know all the gay podcasts out there have covered in November. We're a year late, or a couple years late, but deal with it, bitches. Our episode will be entertaining as fuck because I love this fucking movie. I don't know what Roger thinks about it, but this movie is so over the top, just ridiculous. Again, Louise Lasser, that's all you need to say. Begging for the operator to help her on. Have you seen Blood Rage?
No.
Oh my God! So you don't even know what I'm talking about.
That's what I was saying.
I was looking at because I was looking at your face, and I'm like, when I mentioned
when you
Louise,
I said it doesn't. I said it doesn't hark to Thanksgiving. I've never seen Blood Rage.
Gays, I need you to launch into a brigade and give Roger a very hard time for never watching Blood Rage, because I guarantee you when he watches it, he is going to want to dress up as Louise Lasser, pigtails and all, for Halloween next year.
I mean, if this is Halloween costume material.
Oh, it's her pigtails, her little yellow dress. I think she thought she was in a totally different movie than what she was. I'll just leave it at that. So when you watch it, she is in her own world, doing her own thing. I don't know what they told her she was doing, and I think they told her she was doing a Shakespearean tragedy, and the rest of the cast are doing a straight slasher flick, and she's like, I'm Lady Macbeth, and so I'm going to deliver my lines like Lady Macbeth. You're gonna get a kick out of it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
I was on another podcast recently where I reviewed a god awful, horrible. I cannot emphasize enough how horrible this movie was.
What was it?
Film called The Wolves of Wall Street.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
Jesus Christ! Like, I mean, if you want your eyes to bleed, watch this movie. But but she had a cameo in it, and she was on screen for like 3 minutes.
Louise
and I was like,
Lasser?
Yes,
Mary
I assure
Hartman?
you.
Mary Hartman?
Mary Hartman. Yes,
oh my
she
gosh.
was. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I know. Who would have thought? But yeah. And so this will be a nice palate cleanser after that god awful fucking.
I
Wolves
cannot
of Wall
wait.
Street.
Oh my god. I did not know you haven't seen this, Roger. Oh my god. I just
No,
assumed.
I was trying to hint at it, but then
I just
here I am. I
assumed.
just have to. Now everybody knows that I haven't seen Blood Rage. Everyone can be mad at me. Fuck you, Roger. Who are you to host a horror movie podcast without seeing Louise Lasser sitting in front of a fridge eating turkey? Shame on me.
You will not get that image out of your head. I'm
It'll
gonna tell
be
you,
me.
our Louise. We have a year to prepare our Louise Lasser costumes, Roger. We're going as twin Louise Lasser.
Our calendar. Listen, guys, we're doing a calendar, and it already includes Troy. Troy and I are dressing up as American Gothic in those matching pink dresses.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're doing Thanksgiving for November. We're doing Louise Lasser.
I'm having my custom pineapple dress made as we speak.
Oh gosh, very fitted. I can't wait. You guys are gonna have to. It's gonna be on the Patreon. That's gonna be on the. If you join the Patreon, you're gonna get our official 2022 calendar. Maybe 23. It depends when we can make it happen. But it's coming. Okay.
Oh, guys. Okay, so next week, Blood Rage, guys. And again, thank you for listening. If you check out the Patreon, if you don't want to check out the Patreon, we are still, looking for nice 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts.
We got a surge there for like a couple weeks.
We did.
And now it's gone dry. The well has gone dry.
Even though our listenership is like way up, I'm like, people, come on. We're entertaining you. Can you at least go on your little phone and hit 5 stars and submit? It's not that difficult.
Whatever we got to do. Whatever we got to do.
We're getting desperate here.
And desperate times, Troy.
But guys, yeah, thank you. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Again, join us next week for Blood Rage, and you will find out next week who our next guest is and what the film will be. And if you want to head over to our Patreon page right now, you don't even have to join it, but I did post. You don't even have to join it, guys. I'm telling you, just click on the Patreon, patreon.com/Dark Night of the Podcast. You will see what our next film review is. I posted it today, and it's free. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to subscribe to see it. It's there for you to see. So if that interests you, there you go. But good night, guys. We've gone 2 hours about gravy, which I
and deserving. Yeah, and with that, I mean, I don't know what else to say. A great movie and a great time, Troy.
I'm gonna lead us out with how gravy started. Sowing in the seeds of love, the seeds of love. Good night.
Good night. Beautiful.
The Grammy's coming for me. Come on. Okay. Good night, guys.